Welcome back to the Years in Making podcast with your hosts,
Lizzie.
and Noah. Today we have a special guest that does not need an introduction, but he is going to give you one.
Well, the introduction is my name is Joe Perkins. I am Noah and Lizzie's friend, and we've been friends for a long time.
Very long time.
Very long time.
I've known Joe since come out of the womb,
Yeah.
but I don't know about you.
Probably very close to coming out of the womb with Joe. But we're going to get into Joe's backstory in a little bit. But our icebreaker for the day, I don't know what I called it, but it is describing Noah's perfect day from morning to night. So shout out to ChatGPT, helping me out with the icebreaker
Love
for this.
ChatGPT.
GPT.
Whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
If you know, you know. ChatGPT, always coming in clutch. But Joe, if you want to start, I know you got some stuff in the back of your mind, so you can cook. Yeah. But the icebreaker for today, like we said, for episode 12, is naming my perfect day from morning to night. I'm not going to really judge Lizzie's and Joe's, but if they make a really good point, then I will,
Yeah, and this is like the perfect day with no, I guess, money or time limit or whatnot. Just like anything goes. So I would have Noah getting up. We're all meeting, like the whole friend group. We're meeting at like somewhere to eat breakfast, Biscuitville or somewhere. Okay. We then go to McKay's for a little bit. We then leave McKay's. We go up to the mountains. We get there. Depending on what time it is, we'll probably play a round of golf somewhere up there in the mountains. Yep. Then eat the best meal at Daniel Boone Inn. We'll do that. And then we'll go around the mountains a little bit, do some things, finish off the day with a Forrest Frank Josiah Queen concert. That's the day that I have.
And that's me, you, Ben, Andrew, and I'm guessing Lizzie too, right?
The group.
Lizzie's definitely part of the group.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
Lizzie, what did you think about that?
It was good.
I think Joe cooked for sure.
Yeah.
Good job, Joe. Lizzie?
Yeah, good job, Joe.
Thank you.
Lizzie, what you got, Bob?
Okay, so first of all, for breakfast, we're starting off with breakfast. Do I need to hold the mic?
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry.
You're good. So for breakfast, we're going to First Watch.
Good. That's a good one.
We're then going to the Lululemon store, preferably an outlet.
Correct.
With all the neutral color shorts you can think of.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're going to a golf store. Okay. Then we're going to the North Face outlet.
Who would we go to the golf store with? Who would I need there to help
Adam.
Me? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, for lunch, we're going to Daniel Boone Inn.
There you go.
And then we're going to play a round of golf. Well, Noah's going to go play, and then I'll sit on the golf cart, and I'll find golf balls. We're then going to McKay's, and we're going to a Funko Pop store. We're going to Nerd Bombers, and I haven't seen Nerd Bombers. I was going to say Totally Awesome, but you like Nerd Bombers.
Yep.
For dinner, we're taking quite of a long road trip. We're going to Old Mill.
Oh, wow.
In Tennessee.
There you go.
We
can time travel, though. This is hypothetical.
Yeah. And then for dessert, we're going to Andy's.
Correct.
And then we're coming home and watching a Disney movie.
There you go.
Which one?
Cars, duh. Obviously. And we're binge watching, since we have a limited time, we're binge watching all three.
Plus Mater's Tall Tales.
Plus the Lightning McQueen.
Yes, Road Trip.
Road Trip, yeah, that show.
Yes, you cannot forget those.
And then Cars 4 may or may not come out.
If that comes out, we'll be at the movie theaters.
We will be watching it with popcorn.
Yes.
But yes, the perfect day for me definitely includes Funko Pops, golf, time with Lizzie, time with the bros, Daniel Boone Inn for sure, Old Mill's good, and we're adding the Denton buffet on there as well.
Yes, I almost added that just because of the other night.
Yeah, last night we went to a buffet like an hour away.
Shout out to Andrew.
Shout out to Andrew Roney and Brian and Sarah Roney. Just knowing the old Southern country food that I love at Daniel Boone Inn. This is like another restaurant. It's cheaper and it's buffet style. So we absolutely devoured some food last night, except for Ben. We'll get into that story another day. Yeah. Lizzie, you got the phone for me, Bob? Thank you very much. All right, so I got a little outline for Joe, like it's a message, but it's not. Yeah, Joe, don't be nervous. You know exactly what's to come.
Yeah. You
got it, Bob? All right, cool. All right, so the icebreaker went very smooth. So now we're going to go through how we all met / got close. So So Joe and Lizzie have been going to our church, Eastside, for their entire lives.
Yep.
So Joe is 19, about to be 20. Lizzie's
Next week.
20, about to be 21. So Joe's birthday is the 19th of October, 2004.
Yes.
And then Lizzie's is the 24th of October, 2003.
Everyone add that to your calendars, and I can give my
Venmo
at the end
Apple
of this.
Cash.
My
Apple
Venmo
Cash.
is Lizzie R24.
I don't know what my Venmo is. I got
Joe
locked out of my
doesn't use
account,
Venmo.
so,
Joe don't use Venmo because
So-
he's apparently a suspicious user.
that's what they say.
That's what they all say. So Joe and Lizzie have been going to the same church ever since they were born, pretty much. 9 months in the belly, they were there. Right after they came out the womb, they were there.
Yep.
But Lizzie and Joe, did y'all? I mean, obviously y'all were friends before I started going to church there. But like, I guess how would you explain? Like, was it just like
We're in the same youth group.
mutual friends?
Mm-hmm.
You can explain.
I
Lizzie,
mean, Joe was like on the same level as my brother.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was gonna say. We were like, I was closer to with Andrew.
I mean, I just looked at both of y'all as kind of annoying.
Yeah. Well, we would do
Like,
things.
in
We
the
would do
nicest
things
way
to
possible.
annoy you and
Yes,
Cindy, like
yes,
all
in the
time.
nicest way possible. I was
Yeah.
like, these.
Honey.
Sorry. Like, they're just younger boys and they're kind of annoying. But I just think it like that's just how
So many stories we could tell.
I know.
that's just. Well, I mean, that's just how it is. Like, I mean, for one day, my brother was so annoying, and then it clicked. It's like, oh, this guy's actually my friend. You know what I mean? So it's just how it was. Like, so.
So, like I said, Joe and Lizzie grew up in the same church. They were always friends, but I don't think they were as close as like we all are now.
Yeah.
Just because we've all matured.
Yeah.
Lizzie's gonna check on the cat, but me and Joe, our parents would probably know better. But I mean, I'm sure we like one of our first few occurrences was at if you used to come to my old church,
obviously.
Friendly Lane, or Eastside Day Camp.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about the other day. The first memory that I like remember, like the oldest one I have with you, is at day camp. We were sitting on that hill where the gym is now, eating snow cones, and we were trying to figure out how many church services we had been to in our entire life.
I did not remember that. That's funny.
Yeah, that's
You are just like my brother, like remembering the most
random stuff.
Yeah.
Not the important things, the random things.
Yeah, the I don't remember a lot, but I do have that picture that me and Joe's first picture together, taken at Eastside Day Camp, probably 2009.
Ninjago shirt.
2000. Yep, your Ninjago shirt, my Spring League
suspenders.
shirt. Oh my gosh, I think it was 2013 when we took that. I don't know why I said 2009, but
I don't know.
yeah, that was a while back.
That was a while back.
We were probably like 11 or 10 and 8 and 9, something like that.
Something like that.
But anyways, me and Joe, we've known each other for a very long time. But once me and my family joined the church back in 2016, me and Joe we became like best friends and like brothers pretty much. And ever since then, like we've just kind of grown closer to each other. Our youth group's always been small, so Joe is pretty much my only option.
Yeah.
Not only, but like he was one of the only options I had to have a friend at my church. So ever since 2016, when my family joined, me and Joe have been, best friends. And then Lizzie, came along the way when me and her started dating. Joe was always a third wheel.
Yep.
One of the few third wheels we had.
Third wheel / practice job. There we go.
Absolutely. Joe was
Sorry.
crazy. But yeah, me and Joe, we weren't as close when I first started we first joined, but gradually we became closer, and he was in my wedding, and Joe's definitely one of my best friends, and
other videos and stuff like that.
reels, we send each other reels probably 15 a day. But Joe was in my wedding, and he is a very close friend to us, and I can be goofy with Joe in a second, but also next second I could be very serious with him, about like my relationship with God and stuff like that too. Mm-hmm. But the way we got close was just me and Lizzie dating and Joe being kind of like a third wheel. There's definitely stories we'll get to when Joe comes back on. We just have so many inside jokes. Yeah. This is just the introductory for Joe. But we just have so many stories and inside jokes, and just so much has happened. But we've all stuck with, staying at the same church, and we are all where we are now. So that's kind of how we all met and how we all got close. But Joe, I'm gonna hand the mic over to you, even though you already have one.
Mic, yeah.
Talk about being a preacher's kid.
Wow. There's a lot into that. Is there anything specific that you want to know, like that you could think of, or you just want me to like?
I don't know. Like, so as a preacher's kid, his dad was the pastor of our church, and now he has his own ministry where he's like would you say evangelist kind of?
Yeah. I guess it would be like he does marriage conferences and marriage counseling, and he goes all over the place. Next week they'll be in Colorado, and so they go all over the place. But yeah, I guess you could say evangelist.
Okay. So as a pastor's kid, were you? I don't know what I'm trying to ask, but how was your experience like being a pastor's kid? Being homeschooled and stuff. Did you like being a pastor's kid and being homeschooled, or if you could go back, would you change any of that?
I don't think I'd change any of it. I remember as like a kid when I was like really young, I kind of thought like dad owned the church. Like I didn't really grasp the concept of like, God owning, I guess, the church or whatever, or it being like everybody's kind of thing. So like I kind of thought like that I could like, I guess, do whatever I want or something like that. I don't know, like dad was like the president of the church or something. Like, I don't really know what my concept was, but then there was that, and it was definitely, you would get to church like 30 minutes early.
Yep.
You'd be the last one to leave.
Yep.
Talk to everybody.
Yep.
So I don't necessarily miss that because like I'll roll in church 5 minutes before it starts,
right,
and then leave. But yeah. So but it was good because like I also got to know everyone in the church. You also got to know like a lot of people's business, but just from. But anyways, no. But you got to know everyone in the church like really well, and it's kind of like I've got multiple grandparents and like different relationships in the church just from going there and being a part of that, I guess.
Yeah, and also like a lot of your best friends have come out of our church or like other churches that you've been to.
Really, I mean that's
like probably your dad came to preach at our church before, and that's like probably one of the first few times I met you.
Yeah.
And then like every time I was going to see you, I looked forward to seeing you, and then eventually we joined y'all's church, and it was like I was seeing like my long lost best friend like every single Sunday. Yeah. It's like when the churches like do the collab episode or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like when your grandparents are in the same area.
When the homecomings or something would happen, like, and so we'd go to each other's churches. It was always awesome.
But, it's always us two and Nanner. Ain't that right, Bob?
Yes.
But anyways, as a preacher's kid, Joe was homeschooled. So Joe wasn't around the world a lot, and that's could be a good thing. It also could be, a bad thing. But you grew up around church, and me and Josiah Cox and Andrew, and I mean we're all Christians, and we all believe the same way, and it's good that you were raised that way, so that the people we're all believers and all believe the same as you, and those are all your kind of your best friends now, which is really cool.
I got a good group.
You do have a good group. Shout out to everyone, me and Andrew and Ben and Josiah Cox and so many other people.
Yeah.
But Joe, you probably know so many people just because you've been to so many churches, and a lot of people know you too.
A lot of people do know me, and
whether you know who they are or not.
Yeah, like, and Dad'll go places still, and he'll be like, "Such and such pastor," ask pastor. I'm like, how does he even remember me? Like, exactly. I know him, but like he's old. I didn't think he'd remember me.
Right, that's funny.
But that probably expected me to be like this tall still, and like with a buzz cut.
Exactly. But we covered Joe being a preacher's kid, and his dad was a preacher at our church for like 25 years. Was that what it was? Or just 20?
Little over 25, I think. Okay. Somewhere like that.
Yep. And then he went on to do his own Hope for Homes Ministries. And then next we're gonna go into Joe's call to preach. Yeah. Now I really haven't heard the story about this at all. But I know it's something you're very serious about. And Chris Keeter always puts you on the spot for things. Keeter, but if you want to kind of go through a little bit of the backstory of kind of how that happened and the calling and whatnot.
I think it was, I guess it would have been 2018, I think, in the summer, which I'd been like, I guess, felt like God had been like dealing with me for a while about preaching and possibilities of that, and I just kind of like ignored it a little bit, and then it got to the point where I couldn't, I guess, ignore it anymore. And so and I talked to Dad about it and spoke with him, and then just sort of started, I guess, he gave me opportunities in different places. And I remember the first time I preached or gave a devotion or whatever at the rest home.
I think I was definitely there for that. Were you
Well,
there?
no, it was actually just me and Dad and but then not that rest, not
the senior,
not the one that the youth group goes to. I think that thing lasted 30 seconds, and I think I read the verse and said something, and I was terrified.
Yeah,
and but it was I was always nervous, and when I first started, I would be nervous whenever I would find out I was going to be preaching or something. I would be nervous for a week up to it or days up to it, and trying to prepare and stuff. And then gradually it gets you're still nervous, but you're not it would be nervous the day of, and then it got to more now it's just nervous right before. You're not really nervous until you've got everything prepared, and then when you get up there and you start speaking and stuff like that, it kind of just goes away. I mean, you've done public speaking, and it's kind of like that. But I mean, I definitely think the nervousness is probably a good thing, but because you're not relying on you. But,
exactly.
Yeah. Anything else you want to know about? I probably said some wild stuff back in the day.
I don't know if you have this on there.
I don't even want to know.
Okay, never mind. It's well, I was gonna say would you like to continue with the mission, or would you eventually like to be a youth pastor or a senior pastor or something like that?
Yeah. I don't know. I probably don't know if I would do the senior pastor because I mean, honestly, not that is. I'm not saying pastoring is bad, but seeing I guess the stress Dad had of being
you saw
pastor,
firsthand,
kind of makes me not want to be a lead pastor or senior pastor. I think I could do youth pastor or something because that's more I guess you don't have the you have responsibility, but it's not you're the one carrying all the weight. I guess if something happens, not everybody comes to you with their problems. I guess. Yeah, I could see myself doing something like a youth pastor or assistant pastor.
Yep.
And yeah, I think the mission is probably where I'm definitely going to stay for the time being. I mean, I got a pretty good job there, and it's a good work.
I mean, we were talking to Noah Hooper about it, and I mean, he wants to do a senior pastor, and he's the kind of the assistant to the senior pastor right now, and he was saying I mean, if someone's in the hospital sick or dying,
they gotta go see them. I mean,
you're pretty much on call.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people don't look as preachers look at them as
that.
It's
24/7, 365.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, of course,
in the middle of the night. I mean,
I mean, it's kind of a volunteer, firefighter, but all the time. You got to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, anyways.
But yeah, when me and Lizzie have heard Joe preach, Joe, you've definitely when you first started.
I know I probably said some crazy.
It's not like you were bad when you first started, but
I don't remember. I try to forget.
Yeah, I know, but you got it. Yeah, okay. But when you first started, I could tell the growth you've had, and every time you've preached, even here recently, I can tell, you're even your length is getting a little bit longer.
Yeah, I used to be very
you used
short.
to be 5 minutes max.
And everyone was so excited.
I would be trying my best to lengthen that thing. I'd read a chapter of scripture and stuff, but I just would talk so fast because I was nervous.
Yeah,
and but yeah.
Well, everybody used to be so excited when he used to preach.
Yeah, because it was going to be.
Because everyone's we're getting out early tonight.
Yeah, but I mean, it's cool to see it firsthand, as your friend, and seeing you start it from the bottom. Now we hear.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously,
Drake.
But anyways, but you were down, but now you're up.
There you go.
There you go.
Frank. Yeah.
Forrest Frank. But it was just cool to see Joe start off we were along the road for you
journey,
when you started, and now you're here now, and accepting.
I will say,
go ahead.
That I mean, my biggest supporters were probably they were obviously they were older preachers. They were people in the church, but then I would say family and y'all the youth group and stuff like that. Y'all supported a lot, and no one thought it was weird or anything like that. Being so young, it was everybody supported and thought it was cool. So. Which was neat.
But what I was going to say was accepting the call to preach doesn't mean you have to be a senior pastor.
No.
Even Chris Keeter, he accepted the call to preach, but for him now he's a Sunday school teacher.
Yeah.
Accepting the call to preach just means that you want to, serve Christ and you want to, teach, whether that be preaching in front of a crowd of 1,000 people or if it's just doing like small groups to like 10.
Or like
Yeah.
Chris fills in.
Exactly. So it's good that like you don't view being called to preach as like it's pressured for you to be a senior pastor. And in other words, it's good to know that you can be you can be called to preach and do multiple things with it. That doesn't mean you're stuck to one thing.
Absolutely. And there was when I first was called preacher, I kind of assumed that's what I was going to have to do. Is just become a pastor and go to Bible college for that. And then when I started working at the mission, before I started working there, when I would go to the events and help out, I realized to serve God, you don't have to, just be a pastor. You can. There's many different ways you can serve God, and anyone can serve God in any way.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it worked with your dad as well. He was the pastor, and then God led him to a whole nother thing, and that's just how God works. You're not going to be stuck in one thing for the rest of your life unless that's God's will and plan for you.
Yeah, he puts you where he wants you, I guess.
Absolutely. But we'll take a break from the more serious stuff and then go into some more fun and leisure stuff. I haven't heard jokes speak that seriously for
it's been a while.
that amount of time.
It's been a while, yeah.
It's just
I can
usually
not keep that straight.
It's about 97% goofy when it's
there was I can't remember, it was sometime earlier in the podcast I was on the verge of getting into one of those laughing fits I do. And
I literally said that too.
And I was like, I cannot do this on the podcast.
I literally said that Joe's like the guy you can be funny with and then serious next 5 seconds. But anyways, we did talk about the mission a little bit, but let's go into your whole job history.
Oh wow.
It doesn't have to be you don't have to explain everything. Every single detail of everything you did, but just kind of start from the first job or little job you had and kind of where you are now.
I guess you could say first job was picking up walnuts for Momo, and we'd get each 5-gallon bucket. We'd get I can't remember how much, it was $1 or something. It was us and cousins. And then we could either get the money or we could get a Webkins, and we loved Webkins, so we normally picked the Webkins. Y'all remember the Webkins?
The Webkins, bro. That's classic.
But I don't know if I consider that a job or not, though.
They got paid.
Yeah, but it was more. We probably would have had to do it whether or not we were getting paid. But anyways, I guess the first job would actually be for your dad, Lizzie, at the Mebane Hay Company.
Yes, sir.
Working there, I started I think when I was 12 or 13, doing hay, and me and Andrew, we did.
I didn't know you were that young when y'all started.
We did so much hay. Yeah, we were and it was good money too. And
absolutely,
we did so much hay. Andrew's done and Brian have done way more than I have, but still the amount of hay bales I've probably touched. And me and Andrew got a lot of stories of days that it would be us unloading a trailer or loading up a trailer, and Brian wasn't there, and we'd run to McDonald's in between and go get 20 nuggets and eat it in the truck, and then drive back and try to do hay. And we would try to figure out how it took us 4 hours to unload one trailer, and then
gosh,
we were talking about it one time when we did it not longer. It takes 30 minutes to unload the same trailer. We're like, why did it take us so long?
Yep.
We messed
just
around.
goofing off.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I also worked for Terry Jordan.
Okay.
I started out with processing chickens, I guess would be the nicest
Oh, I remember
saying
that.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a messy job, we'll say that. We don't want to get into too many details with that job, but it was messy. But the money was good on that one as well. And then also with Terry, I would do just random odd jobs, with helping with his little farm or whatever he had. I painted half of his house on the inside. So I do have some painting history, so I could work for Brian Yoder, I guess, if I needed to.
Absolutely.
But then it was Brian Roney and Terry for a while, doing that kind of just part time, just when they needed me and stuff. And then I went to the apple orchard, Century Farm Orchards out in Reedsville. It was 15 minutes from my house. I would work there on pretty much every weekend, every Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Randy, it was I started there also before I could drive. Terry and Brian, people would have to drop me off. Brian would pick me up because I was so young. And
that's right.
And that's how it was with the apple orchard too. Randy Kinley, he's the one who hooked me up with that job, I guess, because he was friends with the guy's dad.
Oh, okay.
And so he would pick me up on his way out there, and I'd ride with him in his truck until I got my license. And then so I did that for a while too, and then it got to like, because I mean I was the closest person he had, like I guess because it's out in the country too.
Yep.
So like I would like work sometimes after school and stuff like that, and just like help him if he needed it, like, and work every Saturday for a long time.
Yeah.
And then one summer I worked at the thrift store for the thrift store in Roxborough for the Durham Rescue Mission, and that's kind of I guess where I got my first experience with them.
Yep.
Working. There's also a lot of stories. Every one of these jobs, I've got tons of stories I could tell. But the thrift store was fun, and I got to meet like a lot of different people doing that. Because I mean, working as a cashier, you're going to meet a lot of different people in the store, but also with like the mission, you got a lot of different people that like come in, and they have so many different stories and backgrounds, and some are crazy, and some are like still trying to get. This one guy, I'll tell this story real quick. He was so bad off wanting some alcohol. He was drinking hand sanitizer. They called him drinking hand sanitizer. I was like, oh my gosh, what in the world? And like, so he's drinking hand sanitizer, leaned up against the building. Like somehow it didn't kill him, and he got drunk off of it. So I don't know how that happened, but they were making jokes and like saying like he was gonna take the little like handheld bottle and be like snorting.
Oh my goodness.
And stuff. But
that is terrible.
Take a shot of hand sanitizer.
Yeah, so there's so many different stories about that. But and then after that, when I graduated, I started working at the Durham Rescue Mission as a, believe it or not, counselor. For I was counseling men who had been addicted to drugs and alcohol and different things, and homeless, and like I'm like 18 years old, fresh out of high school. Like I don't really know what to say to them sometimes. Like, I don't
and
really
these
know.
people are what, 30s, 40s,
oh
50s?
Yeah, and like I mean there would be occasionally you get one that would be like in his 20s, and but the weird thing was like I don't know if it was because like I was the only young, or like it was just different, but they seemed to like connect with me pretty good, and they'd like talk to me, just like I just listened. I didn't really have a whole lot of advice. I mean, I'd tell them if I knew something, and like just basically stick to the Bible. Is all I really knew advice wise. But yeah, and it was fun to hear some of their stories as well. But I mean, I still some of them that are still there and doing the program and doing good. Like we're still got a good relationship whenever I see them. And then after I worked as a counselor for a while, I one day I was working there and I got a call from the VP of Business Administration, and he was like, "Can you come to my office when you get a chance?" And like the Business Administration department, they're located at the women's campus, so it's like 10 minutes drive. And so at that time, because Adam and Lizzie worked there, I was carpooling with them because we lived so close, and it just made sense. And so I was like, "Yeah, I need to see if Adam can take me over," because I'd rode with him. We drove their car that day. And so I told Adam, and I think he had already spoke to Adam about it because him and Adam were kind of close. And he was like, "Yeah, Tony told me." And I was like worried. I was like, "What did I do? Did I do something? Like, why is the VP wanting to talk to me?" I was like, "What did I do?" I was like, "I don't know. Like, am I getting fired? Like, what is happening?" But Adam's like, "No, don't worry." Like he kind of knew more. And I went in there and sat down in his office, and he's like, what did he say? He's like, basically, Reverend Hart, the CEO, he's like, he wants us to have succession plans. And so, we want to hire you if you're, we don't want you to, think about this or whatever. And we want to hire you to come work in the business department as like my assistant. You'll be trained in like, accounting, purchasing, different things in business. You'll sit in on meetings and different things and learn, and to eventually, whenever like he retires or if something were to happen, I could potentially take his place. And so, I told him, I was like, "Well, yeah, I mean, sure." And so then we set a start date for that when I would like transition and started doing that. And I've been doing that since I think June or July of last year. Nice. It's been about a year doing that, and things are going pretty good. I've seemed to learn a lot. I think I have. I've got a lot more stuff to do because at the beginning, Noah knows I would be sending him probably 100 reels.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Because I just didn't have much to do. Like, I mean, but now I've got more, responsibilities and different projects and things to do. But it's good, and it's a great place. Helps a lot of people.
That was a good in-depth.
That was good.
On the spot too.
Great job.
Well,
you actually kind of like we already talked about Joe's like future goals with like his preaching and stuff. Do you have any like goals outside of preaching, like work goals or like any sort of like life goals or anything?
Life goals
besides like getting married.
Yeah, obviously getting married,
giving a family and
having kids. kids that love me. You know, what was it Michael Scott said he wants to have 100 kids so that he'll have 100 friends or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
obviously,
actually,
you remember
that's
that? It's not quite down bad as Michael Scott, but but nah, yeah, family and kids, you know, that house type thing. I would think it would be awesome to have like a beach house. You know,
Yeah.
I guess you could
that's a
say a
good goal to
goal.
have.
That's a goal. Let's see, what's another good goal to have? Be good at golf.
Yep.
That's a
Facts.
goal. Want to
It's
be
gonna take some time.
good at golf. That will take a lot of time. Let's see. I mean that's. I don't
Those are
know.
solid goals.
That's kind of.
That's good goals, Joe.
I'm kind of on the spot with the goals.
That's
So
okay.
I forgot about that question. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is that all you got?
Let's see.
Joe, you ain't gotta
No, I'm
you ain't
thinking,
gotta
I don't know.
pull up something.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you ain't got
yeah,
nothing.
if I ain't got nothing, I ain't got nothing. I
All
guess it'd be a good uncle for Noah and Lizzie's kid whenever they have one. You know.
Absolutely.
Be a good
That funkle.
There you go. Fun uncle. That's funny. So talk about Joe's work history and goals, endeavors. So now we're gonna go into Joe's Funko Pops.
Oh yeah.
Now
Noah got me into that.
I did get you into that. Me and Joe both have been collecting for a while
Show the
now.
picture.
I don't know if it's going to
Put that as the thumbnail.
Just Funko Pops.
Just Funko Pops.
And that picture of you and me in the Ninjago shirt.
Dude, exactly. That's gotta be
but so if you don't know, I collect the Funko Pops, and they're just like little mini figurines that have like boxes to them, and you could stack them.
Like bobbleheads.
I've been collecting them for like 4 years. So Joe, kind of tell us like what your collection's worth, how many you have, if you know off the top of your head. Yes, the Funko app.
Yeah,
I have it too, but
the Funko app is kind of
glitchy.
It'll like the price they give on there, and then like the price that
it's actually worth. It's changed a lot too.
I'll see. I think I got rid of some of these, but I've also gotten some since then, and I haven't like updated my list on the app, so it's not 100% accurate. But the list says my value is 2,626. So I guess it would be safe to say 2,500 value. I do not have that much money in there. I'm going to clarify that. Most of what I got, people have given me for like, you know, birthdays, Christmas. I'll ask for it. The Funko Noah, like that's how I got started. Like I had a couple, and then like I saw Noah's collection or whatever, and then he's told me whenever Funko had like some, it was like four.
Was it like
Funko Pops for a certain
4 for $20 or something
like that? And they did that like a couple times right there in a row. And so I kind of got some from that. Then going to different like places they were on sale. You know, cheaper places. Macari's a good place to get them. And you know, you just kind of build your collection. And I had a lot more at one point, and then like this past summer, I got rid of a good bit of them. And like I think I sold them for like, I can't remember how many it was, but it was like $100 and something.
Okay.
At the place in Mebane.
But
they, you know, it was just ones that I didn't really, I went through and like ones that I didn't want or didn't.
I did that too.
Kind of thing. And just like now I'm kind of, because before I was just collecting like any one that was kind of cheap and
me too.
He was
I did the price
so I could build my collection. And then now I'm more like just focusing in. I've got
quality,
a lot of Star Wars, got a lot of Star Wars, and then it'll be like random, like, you know, I got like Jerry Seinfeld and I got, probably the best one I have is I got Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for all you WWE fans. He was a wrestler back in the day, back in like the 70s.
Did you tell Dad you have that?
Yes. But get this, I got him, and I was able, for Chuck Coates, this guy who works at the Mission, he used to be a wrestler in WWE. He never made it big, but he knows a lot of the guys still, and he hangs out with them, you know, goes to their house. He goes to Ricky's house all the time. And like, he was telling me about this. I was like, oh my goodness. So I got the Funko Pop. I'm like, Chuck, can you get this signed for me? He's like, oh yeah, man. He said, next time I go to his house, I'll get it signed. So he's got it. I've got it signed. The funny thing is he
knows how much that's worth.
He misspelt my name though, which I don't care. He put like to Josiah, but it's like Josiaa or something like that. But I'm like, I don't care. I don't even care at this point. I mean, he can spell it how he wants to. He's the goat.
Honey, what are you doing? Crazy loon.
I had a lid on that. But yeah, that's probably the best one I've got.
Dude, that's crazy.
Because the actual pop isn't worth a lot.
But the
signature, it makes it worth it.
Yep. So me and Joe both have been. That's what kind of brings us together a lot of the times is like our Funko Pop collection and
like sending each other
the brand new ones we get and stuff. Jar Jar Binks, Count Dooku.
I forgot. For the perfect day for Noah, we would have found Grunkle Stan
Grunkle Stan Funko Pop.
the McKay's when we went there.
For like $50.
For like $20. Like
$20.
They didn't know what they had.
Exactly.
It was mispriced.
That thing's worth probably $130.
Easy.
All right, that's wrapping it up for Funko Pops. Now we got Joe's golf game.
Oh,
Joe, how was the golf game going? When did you get into golf? Just explain to the viewers how good / bad.
I mean, I played golf a couple times growing up. Like we would randomly go, and then it was actually a couple of years ago. I tried to get into it, and uncle, he's big into golf. He got me a bag and like a driver or like 2 drivers.
Which uncle was this?
Craig.
Craigie Star.
Yeah, Craigie Star. He got it from like one of his friends or something, like just for free. And then I had a set of like irons that weren't really that good.
Yep.
Then my barber, he's big into golf. I just went in randomly one day and he's selling a set of irons with like a 3-wood, like Callaways. And like I'd talked to him some about it. And he's like, I'll give it to you for like $200. And like, that's really good.
Yeah.
For a full set of irons and a 3-wood Callaways, really good deal. And they're really nice. And so I did that, and then I still wouldn't play, but like I played with those like 2 times.
Yep.
In the past couple of years. But then this past summer, me and Noah and Andrew, and then Ben when he's not injured, we will play golf. You know, we kind of played every weekend for a while, and it was great. And we're terrible. I think my game has improved since we started. Sure. Your cheating has improved. Too. I do not cheat anymore.
Joe, have you been convicted from your cheating? Is that why you've lessened?
Well, it's more or less Noah and Andrew getting mad at me. Because Noah didn't really get mad at me. He was just like, no, I'm not going to let you cheat. And like he would say it so nicely, like, because like when Andrew would be like, stop cheating, like, why are you writing that down? Like, it would just make me want to do it more to aggravate him, kind of. And like him and Ben, Ben would get like so upset, like, because it's been so bad. And like, so I was just doing it, but then Noah just like said, nice, like, I'm not gonna let you cheat. He said, I've got a counter. So then I started using the counter, and I'll use my like calculator, and I'll like each time I do a stroke, I add 1. Yep. And which really I feel like I've gotten better doing that. Yeah, not counting the
makes you be honest and like improve on your mistakes.
Yeah, it does, and it makes me focus more. I feel like because I'm like I can't cheat on it, so I gotta like do good. Yep. But putting is my biggest problem. I feel like I'll have a chance for par or like a birdie or something. Yeah. And then I'll get on the green and like then I'll be
all over the place.
Yep. It'll be like score 8 or something, and I'm like, oh man.
That one time you got like your putting was so bad on that one hole at Okanichi. I think you got like a 13 on a hole. I think it was like a par 3.
There was one like where I don't think you were with us. It was like me, Andrew, and Ben, and I was doing so bad. I was just like quit, and I was like, I will take the like average of yours and Ben's, and they're like, okay. And then Ben ended up he agreed to it, and then he was like, when we went to put the score down, it was going to be like 1 less than what he got, and he's like, that's not fair, and like I was, but it was a good time.
I think I was there for that one.
You were? Okay, I can't remember if you were there or not.
But, can't remember where that was at. Might have been at.
We have so many golf stories as well.
The Valley.
Getting yelled at by drunk people.
Next episode, we'll address these stories.
Yeah, and
there's so many stories too. Every time I'm not golfing with them, like something bad happens.
We get in trouble with like a drunk person. But
I'm like the dad of the group.
The dad of the group.
He is. He keeps us in line.
Absolutely. All right, Joe. I will. All right, Lizzie. We have to. What is the best inside joke we all have? Well, here's the thing. We can talk about these on the next podcast we do with Joe, maybe next year or something. Yeah. But I don't know. There's just I think
there's one.
There's one I have in my mind.
What are you doing
No.
I can't do that.
No, I'm doing the Bonnie. I'm doing
the
If you know, you know.
That's that's all we gotta say.
If you come to East Side, you know.
You know about the It's awesome.
We don't even, and then there's the rap.
The rap.
There's a lot. There's a lot of inside jokes. There's so many.
Like we can't.
They just been built up over the last.
The lore
that my kid's gonna know one day.
Oh man,
yes sir.
They're gonna be like, why do we call him Uncle?
Why do we call Joe Uncle? And then I have a 6-hour video of why. But anyways, definitely want to cover some of the inside jokes and stories. Joe's a really good storyteller. Yeah. It's a very underrated fact about Joe.
We need to get him, Ben, and
Joe.
Oh my goodness, that would be
him, Ben, and I said Joe. I meant Andrew. Yeah.
That would
be unhinged. That would be insane.
Awesome. That'd be awesome. Me and Andrew would take like probably 5 minutes just to roast Ben for no reason. We do that a lot. Every group has to have a Ben.
Yep.
He's the emotional punching bag of the group, and we love
literally
Ben.
and
love Ben. He takes it so well because like he just doesn't care, and like he doesn't. It's weird. Like most people like dish it back. Ben just doesn't care. He just like takes it like a champ, I guess. But we love him.
You gotta love him. Lizzie, do you have any questions you meant to ask Joe? I'm sorry, I'm holding the mic. So. No. I just have. We only have 2 mics.
If I've been thinking of something, I've been intervening, so it's fun.
Yep. Well, we covered everything I had. And like we said, I would love to get you back on.
Absolutely.
Cover some less serious things, some more jokes and stuff we have.
The stories. Just take a few minutes to tell some stories like I was the other night.
We have some farting stories.
Oh,
that's very inappropriate.
Yeah, we can't do that on the podcast.
Ain't that right, Lizzie?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I condone it.
I've been holding one in this whole video. I'm not going to do it in the video because there are females watching this.
Yeah.
So me and Joe, before we end, we want to end on the perfect dap up.
Me and Noah always have great dap ups. And like we were joking, we're like, watch the like one time we mess up be on the podcast. We'll have to like redo it 3 times, but we'll see what happens. We want to get one mic'd up. So we gotta stand for this.
So let's see. Let me see if I can see you standing.
Yeah, can you see me?
You're standing, but I can't see you. But we can see our hands.
We can see the hands. That's all you got. Like,
all right, Lizzie.
All
right, Lizzie. So hold that up.
I'm kind of nervous for a dap up now.
Yes,
beautiful.
sir!
Beautiful.
First try,
beautiful.
That's exactly what we wanted to do.
That is awesome. That is the goal. That was like the whole goal for the podcast.
That was perfect. First try. Beautiful. All right, Joe, do you have any questions for us? Any reviews, feedback on the podcast? What do you think?
Podcast has been great. I will say that I haven't been able to watch the ones for some reason, Adam and Marissa and Noah Hoopers. I want to watch them, but like I go on YouTube and go to watch these things, and it's like YouTube says, well, hold on, I'll read the like message.
He's pulling out the receipts.
I'm pulling out the receipts. Prove this.
You still got Apple Music.
Well, I don't think those ones were on it. First thing I see on Noah's messages.
Joe. Let's see. Pull it up.
Where's that at? Hang on.
Thank you, Marissa, for staying this long, and whoever else is still watching.
Yeah. Whoever is.
Let's see.
It says this video is restricted. Please check the Google Workspace Administrator and or the Network Administrator. I have no idea what that means. I tried to look it up. Figured out. I'm like, what in the world? But
interesting.
I'm going to like watch them somehow.
Apple Music, podcast,
Apple Podcast, Spotify.
Wherever you get your podcast. Music? Yeah. But I thought those ones weren't on because they were too long.
The Adam and Marissa one's not on there because it was like a video or something. I had to cut it.
Okay.
But
okay, I'll definitely watch that one.
We can figure that out later. Yeah. But Lizzie, anything else you got for Joe? Joe, anything else for us?
I don't think so.
Now I'm about to eat some chocolate chip cookie pie.
Absolutely. Cookie cake.
Destroy that.
Shout out to Colin. Happy first birthday.
There you go.
Maddie and Micah's kid. But anyways, Joe, it was a pleasure having you on the pod. Absolutely. You are the 4th official guest. And we will definitely be seeing you back, hopefully, next year. We would like to have pretty much everybody we've had on back again. So
absolutely.
Joe, we love you, buddy.
Who knows what's going to be taking place by next year?
Absolutely. Who knows? You know,
will we be here? We don't know.
Never know if there's a little Lizzie or Jacob, Noah running around.
That's true. Well,
another cat.
I about said Jacob Davis. Will Mr. Davis have like repaired this house?
Or will there be a new house? Or
hopefully new
house reveal with Joe episode?
Hey,
you never know.
Speaking
God,
into existence,
God will work His will out.
Speak it into existence.
Mysterious ways, absolutely.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was a pleasure to have you on, Joe. We love you.
To be here.
Proud of you,
love
buddy.
You guys too.
Praying for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was episode 12 of the Years of Making podcast with our special guest Josiah David Perkins. All right, y'all have an absolutely great day.
Wonderful day. Vanstastic, right?
Vanstastic day. Peace out.
Peace out, homies.
Bam.